Central is going to be in a position where they need a must-win, and we're going to talk some X's and O's about education now
Love it.
with Principal Sayer. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
One of the things that I love talking about is everything Westerville Central. As an alum myself, I like learning new things about what's going on, some new traditions, or the traditional, hey, this theater production's going on, and as an alum of that as well, I like to know what's in the know for the Warhawks.
Absolutely.
And it's been a busy week for you. It's homecoming week. I'm sure you've got a multitude of things to still do tonight. So we appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. Love it. We appreciate everything you do for our school and getting our story out there, so we appreciate you.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's an honor, and it's something I love to do, so we want to make sure we continue to do that. When you think about homecoming, what does homecoming just mean to you?
Yeah, I think homecoming is about tradition. It's about pride in our school and celebrating the old traditions, but also creating new ones. So we're excited about some of the older traditions that are coming back this year. You and I were talking before that this is going into my 4th year at Central, and I kept hearing about this homecoming parade that used to be. And so I think when COVID happened is when that kind of stopped with a lot of things. So we've been talking about bringing that back for a couple years, and just talk had to come with some action. So we had some teachers, Mr. Mahoney, Mrs. Mahoney, really led that charge along with Mr. Peretta, our band director, and Genoa Township Police actually working with us to make it a reality again. So we're going to have that Friday before the football game at 5, kind of a loop around the neighborhood right there at Tussock and Shellbrook and Mount Royal, and Hillmar, so that square there. So we hope we get a lot of neighbors to sit out. We have over 30, community, central teams, clubs, elementary, and some youth programs that are going to participate. So we're really excited about that, and obviously along with our homecoming court.
That's amazing. 30?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
We put the call out. And so I think that just shows how much pride people do have in Central and want to be a part of bringing that tradition back.
Well, it's a unique tradition.
Absolutely.
How many high schools actually have a homecoming parade?
Yeah, I didn't at mine.
Not that I'm aware of. My mom said that up in North Canton that they had one.
Yeah.
So it was a Northeast Ohio thing.
Yeah, we like being unique, and we like being first. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When Westerville Central, you got there, you really changed the culture. The culture is really now seems very positive for the student body. You brought in, with help of Mr. I and the huge committee that went into this, you brought in Coach Franke. We talked about this last year, and he has sparked even more school spirit around not just football, but for everything at the school. When you bring in someone like that, how important is it to make sure that they're matching what you're trying to build in a school?
Yeah, I think that was when we talked about what we were looking for. That honestly was our top thing that we were looking for in someone that could have impact, obviously on our football program, but our entire school community. And Coach Franke, I say this every time I tell somebody, we ask him one question, and an hour later he finished his answer.
Trust me, I know.
But I think his just enthusiasm, his excitement, not just for football, but for students in general, and understanding what our role is as educators to prepare them for what's next, and to have that resilience, work ethic, and pride in what you're doing every single day, and get better every single day. He's helped elevate, obviously, not only our football program, but our entire school. And just he's a teacher in our building, which I think is so important to have our head coaches and any assistant coach in the building. That just that helps bring that leadership throughout the school and in the hallway. So I can't even measure the impact he's had, but it's been a tremendous positive for us.
Homecoming week, a lot of school spirit goes into that. I'm sure every day had a theme. I've seen some of the posts over the week. What's been your favorite theme so far up to today?
Well, I think, yesterday was a pretty fun day. It was surfers versus bikers, and I think there was a little confusion with the bikers. The teachers kind of took a different spin on it, and they were bicyclists. And then some people thought they got confused. But we had, motorcycle bikers, and Coach Franke actually has participated. He dressed up as a surfer dude yesterday.
Okay.
So
right.
It's been fun to see our staff get involved. And, I think that pride, when we first started, and you see that nobody would participate during school. It was always at the games. They would, now we're seeing kids come to school. And that I think that just shows that the fun and the positivity, that people want to be a part of something that's fun.
Westerville Central is always a great place for anybody to visit. It's a great school academically. What sort of changes have been going on around the school going into the new year? Well, first let me ask you this: how's the new year treating you?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, we've had a great start to the school year. I can't believe it's year 4. It's went by so fast.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that we feel that impact of our kids. Just so proud of them. Not just on the athletic fields, but in the school, the leadership, the people that they are, the mentors they are to our younger students. Just so proud of them. We're really proud of some academic achievements we've had. We were named one of the best high schools by U.S. News and World Report rankings. We are 17th in the Columbus area, and we're number 1 in Westerville, so we're proud of that.
There you go.
And then 38 of our students received honors from College Board for scoring well on their AP exams and PSAT. So, I feel really proud of those accomplishments, and that's a testament to our teachers as well of what they pour into our kids.
Well, you've got great teachers, and a lot of them are still there from when I was a student.
Yeah.
So I know that they're good because I had them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
McSwords and Loftman and Ogle, you name them. I probably had them in class at some point.
Mr. McSwords is obviously a big part of homecoming. He's a senior class advisor, and he's preparing right now for our homecoming assembly, which is tomorrow afternoon, and he does it up. I hear that we're going to have a special thriller dance that's during the assembly that's going to involve a lot of people, including teachers. So, he's the master behind all of that.
Well, he has always been very good at that.
Yes.
I remember back in the day, he's still got that spark.
Well, he's an Otterbein alum, too.
It takes Otterbein people to make things great. I'm saying it now.
Absolutely. I agree.
There's 2 right here.
That's
There's
it.
more in the audience.
That's
it takes
right.
Otterbein people to make it great.
That's it.
When you come into the new year, I'm sure there's always some new teachers and some new ideas that come into the realm. What are some things that are new to this year for Westerville Central?
Well, I think, we had a lot of teachers retire. We hired 7-8 new teachers this year, so it's fun to see them come in and give have their impact on the school, and, that relatability that they have with the kids is there. But something from a district perspective that it's called MTSS. It's a multi-tiered system of support, and really trying to focus on how do we support all kids in the classroom at that first level, so that kids are successful, and don't fall behind. So putting a lot of effort into the, classroom every day, reaching every single kid, trying to intervene early if they're struggling. So teachers have done a really good job, did a lot of work over the summer to prepare for that. So we're really seeing positive results from that in supporting kids, not only academically, but emotionally, behaviorally. So, seeing a lot of good work there. So that's a really big push for us this year. And so we're excited to see where it goes.
Any events that the listeners should be aware of that are coming up that maybe they can participate in? Yeah,
so obviously we hope to see everybody at the parade tomorrow, obviously a football game. And then coming up on October 29th, it's actually called Westerville 1. It's all 3 choirs will be performing at Alum Creek Amphitheater October 29th. So encourage everybody to come see that. We just finished our fall play, and they're gearing up already for the next play, which is in November for Little Women.
Okay.
So that'll be good. And then our academic boosters have their Arts and Crafts Festival, and that's their biggest fundraiser. That's coming up in October. So we really encourage everybody to support. All of their money raised goes right back to Central Students program. So they're a tremendous supporter of things that we can't do.
It's a pretty good festival.
Right. Yes, it is a pretty good festival. So, lots of good things coming up. Obviously, we'll be talking basketball here soon. So always checking out our sporting events. We've got kids in the postseason right now. We have a golfer that qualified for districts that's playing. Our girls tennis team had a great season. Our girls soccer team actually clinched the OCC title for Ohio Division, so proud of that.
That's great.
This has been a lot of great things, but a lot of great things ahead as well.
Mark your calendar, our basketball preview show for the defending district champions.
That's right.
Will be November 17th, that Monday evening at 6 o'clock, live from Gianmarco's.
I'm there.
So
I'm there.
Yeah, we'll be in the back little private room
Okay.
for the show.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We thank alumni Lance Wyatt for setting that up for us. He's does our analyst for basketball as well.
I heard you're trying to get him to do baseball as well.
We're trying to get Wes to do baseball.
Okay.
Wes Minke. We're trying. He got a nice promotion at work, so availability might be a little bit difficult for him. We're
Right.
trying, and the only reason I don't do baseball, I like watching baseball. I can't call baseball.
Yeah.
That is not something that you can truly teach. That is an art.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, when you listen to Tom Hamilton or anybody like that, the way that they can just continually talk about baseball and what's going on, the factoids that they pull out, I don't have that art.
Well, don't sell yourself short. I couldn't do what you do. You do a great job.
I appreciate that. I don't have that art. Baseball was one after 4 years at Otterbein. I said, I'm just going to tuck that aside, and if I have to fill in, I'll fill in for somebody. But that is not my specialty. I've tried before.
Yeah.
When Westerville Central takes the gridiron tomorrow night, what do you need from the students and the fans, the alumni, in order for Westerville Central to create a great atmosphere but also come away with a win?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and we talk about, we have a great student section.
Yeah.
You've seen them there, and great student leaders. So really proud of them, and they set the tone. They, on social media throughout the week, getting kids there. They have a student tailgate every Friday home game.
That's
so
awesome.
And they all walk in together, which I think is really powerful. Just kind of sends that message of unity and that we're behind the team. The band, the cheerleaders, just be loud, right? Be there, be loud. We need our community to come out and support the kids. And, I think for our team, them remembering that they've made tremendous progress this year. I know it doesn't, we want to see more W's in that column, but they'll come. Just really proud of them continuing to put the work in and the grit and perseverance and how they stick together and support each other and keep fighting till the end. That's all we ever ask of them, and they never fall short of that. So that's what we expect to see from them, and we'll be there to help them.
I've seen 1.5 seasons of Coach Franke football, and throughout every single game you've seen growth.
Yeah.
And especially this year, when you take 1 and 2, those 2 weeks away.
Absolutely, yeah.
Those were 2 weeks where you could tell, okay, this was a tough start.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden they hit this nice little stride.
Yeah.
And you could see the momentum and the hard work they put in.
Yeah.
They bought in.
Absolutely.
You could tell that Bell Fountain game was the turning point. It was, okay, we can actually do this.
Yep.
So let's do it. And they've been doing it.
Absolutely.
And Coach said it after the Olentangy game and the post game with Wes that team over there, he pointed toward Olentangy. He said that's what we're working toward and how they play the game of football. It's very they're just sound in what they do, and you could see that developing every week with what he and his staff are doing. So I like it.
I do too.
I think it's great.
And we knew that's what we were going to get with Coach Franke, and it takes years to get that. And we're going into year 2, obviously, and it takes a few more years to just really hit that stride to where it's just who we are, what we do, how we play, believing in each other, pushing each other, never being satisfied, and that's what that mentality that Coach Franke brings. I agree. I think kids, our parents, everybody's 100% in, and we believe in it, and we support it, and those W's will come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We appreciate the time.
Absolutely, anytime.
It's been a blast.
Yeah. I'll talk Central anytime.
Anytime. I will too, obviously. I'll talk at any time. Westerville Central Principal Don Sayre. When we come back from this break, we're going to talk to Cohen Bus inside the Josh Franke Coaches Show. There's some cheers for Cohen Bus when we come back on COSN.
Phone's blowing up, but you're in the driver's seat. Ignore the buzz, keep your eyes on the street. No text back, no scroll, just let it wait. Attention on the road, that's the only way. Phone's blowing up, but you're in the driver's seat. Ignore the buzz, keep your eyes on the street. No text back, no scroll, just let it wait.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Attention high school sports fans, are you an armchair official? You know, the parent or fan who constantly yells at the referees and loves to let everyone know just how bad you think they are. Well, if you think you could do better, then get in the game and prove it. It's time for you to suit up and make the calls where they actually count. Every sport in Ohio needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ed Council.
Welcome to today's game. This is Paul Keels, and you know how much I love broadcasting the Buckeyes, but I also love high school sports. On behalf of the OHSAA, let's all do our part to set a good example and make this a fun and safe experience for the kids involved. I know this game means so much to the players, coaches, and fans, but high school sports are about much more than the wins and losses. They teach life lessons that will be with the players long after their playing days are over. Good luck to both teams, and remember to respect the game.
You're listening to the Josh Franke Coaches Show on Central Ohio Sports Network.
Back here at Time and Change, the Josh Franke Coaches Show, here on COSN. Brent Ford with you. Cohen Buss is joining us now inside the show. And you've had a couple good touchdowns there.
Yeah, sir.
You know, Cohen, when you have a good touchdown, and I have a good call, that usually makes it to the broadcast open.
Mm-hmm.
So your touchdown against, was that Jerome?
Yeah.
That touchdown call is on our broadcast open now because it was just a great play.
That's awesome.
I had a great call. You had an even better play. You made me sound good because of that. So thank you.
Yeah,
and our listeners love that. They love hearing those highlights. We've got highlights going back to the Benny Snell days when he played here. So, you know, this is my 12th year calling games. And I still love it. Every single game, I love watching you guys go out and compete in that silver and black.
That's awesome.
It's great to see.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So tell us a little bit about Cohen Buss. What year are you, and what position do you play?
I am a junior. I play tight end, and I obviously kick and punt as well. So, yeah.
I was going to ask you, you know, in that last game against Pickerington North, you had the kneel down on that punt.
Yeah.
What kind of happened during that play?
I didn't really know I put my knee down. I was kind of too carried away in the moment. So, I mean, they called the penalty, and I looked over at my coach, Franke, and he told me I put my knee down. So I was kind of like, well, crap. Because I didn't really know in the moment until it happened, and moved on to the next play and didn't really think about it too much.
That's all you have to do, right, is move on?
Yeah.
You have to try to clear it from your mind and make the best that you can of it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, in that moment, we talked about it early in the show. It was Westerville Central, unfortunately, just kept finding the bad flip of the field in that game and ending up in Pickerington North ending up in Westerville Central territory in the second half. The score, to me, doesn't show how that game went.
I agree.
32-0 doesn't show how that game went. I thought that as a defense, always played well. The offense has been getting better and better each week. In your position as tight end, what are some of the things that you're in charge of on that offense?
Well, I kind of make sure I do my part in the blocking and receiving part of the game. So if they throw me a pass, got to make sure I catch it and get yards. And if I block, I got to make sure I do my assignment right, and I can't miss any easy blocks.
I don't know how you do it. I couldn't do it. There's no way I could do that. How do you know? I'm guessing the play, obviously, when they call it out, tells you what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
But, you know, how do you make sure that you're setting that right block or running the right route?
Well, part of it kind of, like, you got to know what the whole play is. You can't just know your one assignment. So you got to know where your running back's running, and you got to make sure you can protect that hole that he's running through.
When you're watching film at the beginning of the week, prepping for your next opponent, what is it that you look at against a defense? What on film are you kind of maybe focusing on?
I look at their D-line and their linebackers, and I see if they're more, like, athletic or if they're, like, bigger in size. And if they're bigger in size, then I like to attack them and use my speed to my advantage. And if they're fast, I kind of drop back and play it smart with the fast guys.
How'd you become the punter?
Me and Greg Woods had a tryout during practice, and I ended up punting better in practice. So Coach Henderson told me I was punting week 1 against North. And
All right.
Yeah, we just did a little punt off. Same with kicking, just did a little kickoff, and I won them. So.
Is it something that you thought that, hey, I can make something out of this, or is it just kind of for fun?
I don't really know. It just we did a little punt off, and it happened to work out. So.
Just needed somebody to be in that position.
Yeah.
All right. No, special teams is the game is three parts, and special teams is a big part of it.
Yeah.
It makes or breaks a lot of moments, as you know now. But you yourself have been on the positive side of flipping the field with some really great punts this year. So when you're in that position, have you taken the time during practice? Have you reached out to anyone about how do I make good punts? What's a good way to drop that football? What's the angle? Things like that.
Yeah, Coach. His name's Joshua Hegman. He gives me all the fundamentals, tells me how to do it. Sometimes I don't use them, and I just stick to my natural instinct on how to kick a football. But he does give me some tips and pointers on how to do it.
For my graduating class at Central from 2008, I graduated with Ben Buchanan.
Okay.
Big-time kicker for Westerville Central. Got recruited by Jim Tressel to play at Ohio State. Played there for 4 years.
That's awesome.
And so maybe we have an opportunity to reach out to someone who knows how to kick a little bit.
That'd be awesome.
And I'm sure he would love to come back
and
teach a little kicking. So
that would be awesome.
You know what? Maybe I'll suggest that to Coach Franke. See what he says.
All right. Sounds good.
Maybe you never know. Could be an opportunity. So it's homecoming week.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed all the themes this week?
I haven't really been participating in them much, but I see people at school who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they good
cool.
themes?
For the most part, yeah. Frankie's been wearing he wore like a surfer outfit. I think it was yesterday, and today was Christmas or something. But yeah, I haven't really been paying attention too much.
I thought I saw Principal Sayer post an elf on the shelf. Someone was dressed as the elf on the shelf, sitting around the school. I thought that was pretty funny.
I didn't see that.
That was pretty funny. Well, so tomorrow for the homecoming game.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be homecoming. How do you prep on a game night for the game?
Well, for home games, which tomorrow's a home game, we kind of, like before the game starts, we have a moment where we go in the wrestling room and we turn all the lights off. And I kind of just chill in there, listen to music, look through some of my plays, and kind of just get mentally focused and ready for the game.
That's all you can say, right? You just
Yeah.
got to find what works for you.
Yeah.
Coach is pretty superstitious. He wears a lot of the same things. If he loses, he changes it up a little bit. Are you superstitious in any way?
Nah, not really. I kind of just, no. I know he liked when I wore number 44 against Bell Fountain, and he wanted me to keep wearing that, and I didn't really think much of it, and I kind of wanted to keep 88. So
88's a good number.
Yeah, I like 88. I'm going to stick with that
there
instead of changing to 44.
Yeah.
But he wanted me to because we won against Bell Fountain. But, yeah, I was like, I want to stay with 88. So
when you're in that tight end position, you've got Kevin Blas out there as well. What's it like playing opposite of Kevin?
Well, you just know that we got two guys who you can be confident with blocking, and then we can both catch passes and run if they're thrown to us. Like, I don't think me or Kevin will have any like easy drops and drop any open touchdowns. So two reliable guys on the outside that Nate can throw to.
Bonfire tonight? Are you going to that?
I don't think so. No, probably not. No.
Just take it back home and relax.
Get some food, go home and relax.
There you go. Are you eating here, or are you going to grab some food somewhere else?
I'm going to grab some food here.
What are you getting?
I'm getting the buffalo chicken mac and cheese.
I had that 2 weeks ago.
Good?
Very good.
Yeah.
I highly
Sounds
recommend it.
Yeah.
Every time I come, I try to get something different, just to make sure I mix it up. And today I had the time and change burger.
Okay.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they put 2 quarter-pound patties on each burger. That's a lot of meat.
That sounds awesome.
And this was on Texas toast, not a regular hamburger bun.
Okay, that's even better.
It was caramelized onions on there. It was good. I highly recommend it.
You already ate it? Or
It's gone.
Gone?
It's gone.
Nice. Okay. All right.
I highly recommend it. All right, so what's the homecoming color for Saturday night's dance?
I'm wearing I think it's a navy blue suit or something like that. Yeah.
Going with a date? Going with a group?
I'm going with a group of guys, and then I'm meeting up with a bigger group of guys later. So
awesome.
Going from a small group to a big group of guys. Yeah.
I did that myself.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, just kind of hang out, go have some fun.
Yep.
Cohen Buss, tight end for Westerville Central, joining us here on the Josh Franke Coaches Show. Cohen, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Don't be nervous.
I'm not. We're
good. You're good?
Yeah, we're good.
All
we're
good?
Yep.
Just a conversation. I heard you had a little coaching up, though.
Yes. Coach Staten and Coach Franke were telling me what to do at practice because I asked them a few questions, and they were like, "You're fine."
Yeah.
Just going. Yeah.
It's fun.
Yep.
Jackson Mark was on the show last week.
Yeah.
We've had Greg Woods on. Yeah. It's all nice.
I watched Greg's, and he looked like he did pretty good. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's done a great job,
Yeah.
including yourself.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate your time, Cohen.
Thank you so much.
That's Cohen Buss, tight end for Westerville Central. When we come back, we're going to hear from the Westerville Central head coach, Josh Franke, inside the Josh Franke Coaches Show, live from Time and Change on Central Ohio Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Beanie Wells. Whatever the sport, wherever it's played, there's one thing that student athletes, coaches, and fans can all share: sportsmanship. The Ohio High School Athletic Association Respect the Game campaign reminds us that school sports are so much more than wins and losses. On behalf of the OHSAA, let's all do our part to make school sports a fun, positive, and rewarding experience that student athletes will remember for a lifetime. Every game, every time, let's all respect the game.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Your phone's blowing up, but you're in the driver's seat. Ignore the buzz, keep your eyes on the street. No text back, no scroll, just let it wait. Attention on the road, that's the only way. Phone's blowing up, but you're in the driver's seat. Ignore the buzz, keep your eyes on the street. No text back, no scroll, just let it wait.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Josh Franke Coaches Show on Central Ohio Sports Network. With Brent Ford, here is the head coach of the Westerville Central Warhawks, Josh Franke.
I've got Coach Franke from his classroom. We pre-recorded this earlier in the day. I've got my truck in the shop, so I am crash landing at my parents', and I'm using my dad's album wall behind me and his vintage toy display behind me as my background to kind of give it a nice little look. So glad everyone could join us. Thanks for being so supportive of this. Coach, I know you've got a big night ahead of you. Your daughter's volleyball tournament starts off here in the OCC, and you are on your way to Marysville, probably as we're talking, or you're watching the game as we're talking. How incredible of a night is that for you and your family to watch your daughter play in that volleyball match?
I mean, it's big, and I think, obviously thank you for wanting, helping set this up and being able to do a pre-recorded session. I mean, obviously I would love to be at the radio show, and it's something I look forward to every week. But, when me and my wife got married before we had kids, and I obviously, but I was coaching at the time, and I was coaching probably 3 years before I had my first child. I think it was two seasons before I had my first child. And I think I kind of just told myself at that point, like, football can never be more important than my family. And I think, tonight gave an opportunity to kind of put those words into action. I think as she gets older, and my other daughter as well, as they get older, I think I need to do a really good job of making sure that they understand that they're the priority and not football. So, I think for me that's why tonight is a big night. I mean, obviously, it's more than just a regular game for her. It's a tournament game, and this, it could be her last game of the season. It could be a huge tournament win for their team, and I think as a dad, you're just in those big moments or those big games, if she were to make the game-winning serve or something, whatever, have the game-winning kill, like, and I wasn't there. I mean, I don't want to be that guy. So
Yeah. Well, I know my parents always made those sacrifices, and my dad would make sure he did whatever it took to be at my cross country invitationals on a Saturday. So having parents like that, it goes a long way for what each generation then grows up to be,
right.
seeing that influence in their life. So, Coach, let's get back to the X's and O's for a minute for football, and let's talk about last Friday at Pickerington North. That game didn't go as quite as probably you wanted it to do. 32-0 was the final in that one. It started off with a little back and forth in that first quarter. Only 2 possessions for you in that first quarter, 1 for Pickerington North. It was a long drive for them, though, but it resulted in a punt. In that first quarter, how did you feel that game was going at that point?
To be honest with you, not only the first quarter, but the first half in general, I thought things were going really well. And again, I think the message is, like, when you're playing those well-established teams and those rich history of winning teams, and we're rebuilding or in the midst of rebuilding, the way you beat those types of teams, you just take it a quarter or a play or a series at a time. And I think we did that. Like at halftime, the message was like, guys, like, we have this team right where we want them. Like, everything's going according to plan. Like, you guys battled for 2 quarters. Like, let's just, again, we had mentioned several times, like, let's get it to the fourth quarter with an opportunity to win the game. And that's kind of was the mentality for the last 2 weeks with Olentangy and Pick North. But that first half, I thought we played really well. The first quarter, I thought we played really well. Defense played outstanding. You're going up against a kid that's going to go play Division I as a quarterback, and that tailback, I'm sure by the time it's all said and done, he's only a junior, but sure he'll be a Division I player as well. Probably the best back we had seen this far. And again, we couldn't ask for any more than what we got in the first quarter. So.
Yeah, that first half, like you said, it was 7-0 at halftime, and you go into the locker room thinking, okay, there is an opportunity here. You've really held that offense to just minimal big plays. Your defense, of course, getting an interception. Lipsy comes up with an interception. There's the fumble recovery as well. That second quarter really was setting a tone going into the third. And unfortunately, Pickerington North, they made adjustments at halftime that put them more in control. When you talk about that safety, though, to start the third quarter, your first possession in that third quarter, that's just another tough way to start the third quarter. And you talked about it before. The last 4 of the second and the first 4 of the third are so crucial. And that first a possession has to be as crucial for your team, and it results in a safety. How do you get yourselves not only in that position, but then how do you coach yourselves out of that position?
Yeah, and I think the way when you look at that first half and you're ending that first half, there were several times where, and I guess even in the second half, the third quarter, like there were several times where we were just pinned in the shadow of our own end zone, and when you get there, you have to be careful. You have to be very cautious because you don't want to turn the ball over and give them an opportunity for a short field and get a quick score. So you got to be careful. That they're going to be aggressive because they want to try and force you to make a mistake. So you play conservative down there, and again, sometimes you outcoach yourself, I guess. I remember thinking to myself, like, hey, here we are. We're on, I think, we were on like the 2-yard line, and it's like, it was second down, and it was like, all right, they think that we're going to be super conservative and just try to run the ball here and just punt it away. Like, let's run a play action pass and just see if we can't get our tight end down the middle of the seam. They had, 2 sophomores playing corner at that point, and it's like, all right, like, let's see if we can't get them to bite on the play action and get our tight end down the seam. So we called our play action, and it was a double tight set, and one tight end's called our Y tight end, the other tight end's our X tight end. And typically, Kevin Blas is our Y tight end, and Cohen Buss is our X tight end. And due to Kevin missing last game, we bumped Buss over to the Y tight end, and Mason Pavlino, a freshman, was playing our X tight end. And we called bone tight pit action X9, which a 9 for us is a fade route. It's just a seam.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you already know where I'm going with this. Our young freshman quarterback runs the play action, and he's looking at Buss to the right, and Buss doesn't release. So he panics and just throws the ball. In reality, our X tight end is typically Buss, but this week our X tight end was Mason Pavlino, who was playing on that left side. So Nate instantly came off the field. He's like, I just got confused. He said, I know that Buss is usually the X tight end, and I saw him lined up at the tight end on the right, and I just thought that was who it was. And he said, when he didn't go out, I just threw it. And I mean, I don't even know if Nate knew that if you throw a ball from the end zone and it's intentional grounding, that it's a safety. He probably didn't even know that. So it was a learning experience for him. And it's just one of those things where I feel like that was a moment where things started to snowball. You have the kickoff return that's fumbled. They get another short field. And then we go to punt, and the ball, it's a bad snap, and our punter goes to scoop it off the ground and has a knee down while he's picking up the ball, and they call him down right there. And again, another short field. So you're looking at, right there, that's 14, that's 16 points coming off mistakes in a short field. So if you really take that off of their running total, I feel like that score that they posted was that's a little deceptive. I mean, I think that game was a whole lot closer. And a lot of times, again, I think we had 3 or 4 possessions where we were inside our own 5-yard line, whether that was from turnovers our defensive caused, or, they went for it on 4th down and didn't get it. And those are hard predicaments to have your offense in and try to battle and put together 95-yard, touchdown drives. So at that point, you're just trying to flip the field and get yourself some breathing space so you can punt it away and hope your defense come up with another stop. And 5 turnovers, defense played great. I mean, considering those first 2 weeks, we didn't have any turnovers. I mean, they're playing with their hair on fire. I mean, they're getting 3 to 5 turnovers every week. And, I think that's just a credit to our defensive staff, who's really put a ton of emphasis on, again, manufacturing turnovers and getting the ball back.
Yeah, I was going to say that the swing there on the punt with Russ putting his knee down, that turned into the touchdown. They tried for a 2-point conversion. That didn't go. So it's 15-0 at that point. But then, of course, Westerville Central with that pick 6 then, that's 29-0 at that point. There was a touchdown before that. Pickerington North had the football. It was a 1-yard touchdown rush. They started at the Westerville Central 22 at that point. When you think about how this late second half went, and you talk about field position, how do you get your team now into some better starting field position? Because you are, like you said, you're dealing with the woes of a learning quarterback. So how do you get into some of these positions that are more positive for the young quarterback and your players that are maybe subbing in, playing for an injured player? How do you put them in a field position spot that works best for your team?
Yeah, Sunday when we had our coaches meeting, I gave our defensive coaching staff I mean, I was joking, I was being sarcastic, but I was like, I said, if you guys weren't creating turnovers on the 1 yard line, we would have been a whole lot better offensively. So everybody kind of laughed, but obviously you want your defense creating turnovers, and you'll take them anytime you can get them. But I think there was like 2 or 3 turnovers that we got that set us up in some tough, difficult field positions. But I think ultimately just, again, winning that that battle of where are we getting the ball on the field? Can we manufacture punts, or are they going forward on 4th down? And our defense played a bend but not break type style last week, and offensively, we just need to be able to get ourselves out of those holes. Now, Kevin King's back this week. I think he is going to be a huge part of that success. And I think he's going to play to the success of Nate Miller and Omar. I think a lot of teams, especially the last 2 weeks with Kevin King being out, they've been able to kind of really zone in and target Omar, knowing that he now becomes the center focus. And he's still been able to produce and put together some good games. But, when he's split out receiver and we don't have him doing any cross motion or anything like that into the backfield, and there's no real run threat available, like that's when things get hard on Nate. And, if you look at the pick six, the play design was a double post with a wheel underneath, and Omar was the guy running that wheel, and Nate gets early pressure and, throws it. He's not even throwing the wheel. I think he was hoping Omar would sit that wheel and break it off and sit in that flat. And Omar has his back turned to him. Omar's not even seeing it. And he turns up for the wheel, and the defender, obviously Grant ran a great route because the defender stayed on the arrow route, didn't think a wheel was coming. Omar actually ends up being open on the wheel, but because Nate had to get the ball way too fast, and that kid just sat in the flats and was able to pick it off. And it's just, those are the frustrating moments where you're just like, we had the play there and we just panicked and rushed it a little bit. But again, going in this year, we knew this was going to be the case. We knew there was going to be ups and downs with a freshman quarterback. We knew there was going to be a learning curve for him. And I have to just keep staying in his head is like, dude, you're learning every week. And the things that you're learning that's going to turn you and morph you into the kid you're going to be 4 years from now, and you're going to look back on these games. You're going to be like, wow, like what was I thinking? And, but you got to go through this struggle to get to where you're going to be. I think success and struggle will go hand in hand. Like you have to go through struggle in anything in life to be able to have success. So, he's our guy. He's always been our guy. There's been no question, comments, or arguments about whether it should be somebody else or not. Everyone is on the same page of like, no, Nate's our guy. So again, we just got to put him in some better situations, I think, and just, again, try to make it as easy on him as possible. I think he panics a little bit with the pressure right now, so we got to try to get him out of the pocket some more. We tried to do that a little bit last week, and he had some success when we did. So I think we just kind of have to try and build off that.
Coach, obviously 32-0 is not what anyone was hoping for out of that game, but I think you described it well, that just certain starting field positions just kind of put you in a tough spot offensively, and better decision making, just learning curve by your young quarterback, I think goes a long way. And no, I don't, not that I'm aware of, and I think you're right. No, not that I've heard is, Nate Miller is your guy. And I think it's just a learning curve. I think everyone has accepted that. Well, and if they don't accept it, they just have to know that it's a young quarterback starting for the first time on Friday night. So he's going to take some big learning curves at times, smaller ones, and have some small successes as well that will build to a great career for what you guys are building. So with that, Coach, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about, hopefully you know who your captains are at the time of this recording. If not, well, you do. So great. We'll be able to talk about that coming up, and we'll talk about who really stood out for you last week. We'll have you pick some of the players of the game, and we'll have that more as we continue in the Josh Franke Coaches Show from Time and Change on Central Ohio Sports Network.
former Ohio State and NFL quarterback Bobby Hoy on life lessons through sports.
The member schools of the Ohio High School Athletic Association share in the mission of educational athletics. That means that school sports are an extension of the classroom and play an important part of a well-rounded education. Student athletes do a lot more than just play sports, but it's the lessons they learn through sports that last a lifetime.
This message brought to you by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The year was 1907. The Cubs won the World Series and the Ford Model R hit the assembly line. While here in Ohio, school administrators came together to form the Ohio High School Athletic Association. One thing that hasn't changed since 1907 is the dedication of the OHSAA to education-based athletics in Ohio. School sports teach responsibility, sportsmanship, and life lessons that stay with students long after their playing days are over. The OHSAA seeks to prepare students not for the next level of sport, but for the next level of life.
Check the back seat. Check the back seat. All right, come here. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. But with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. So get it in your head.
Check the back seat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Josh Franke Coaches Show on Central Ohio Sports Network. Back with Westerville Central head football coach Josh Franke. Here is Brent Ford.
Welcome back inside the Josh Franke Coaches Show from Time and Change here on COSN. Brent Ford and Coach Franke with you in a pre-recorded Josh Franke segment. He's at his daughter's volleyball match right now. We hopefully, Coach, you'll be sending me updates as we're talking about football. Because I'm invested now. You know,
I know.
A couple nights now where I think a lot of people are like, "Hey, how's the volleyball team doing?" So we're definitely invested, that's for sure. So hopefully things are going well for you at that time. Well, Coach, last week, again, 32-0, not great where you wanted to be on that scoreboard at the end of the game, but like we talked about some of the positives and learning moments for your team. What out of that game, who do you think really stood out? Who would be your players that learned a lot, maybe stood out, had a great game, and names that maybe we should keep looking at moving forward into this week?
Sure. I think first off, I think overall, I think a good takeaway was, again, you try to look for these little wins, but a good takeaway was, that the hook and ladder play right before half, which could potentially have sat out. I mean, we were close to that field goal. We just barely missed it. But that wasn't on the call sheet. We've never practiced that play ever. It was something that literally it was just drawn up right there on the sideline. And I think that is a huge sign of growth, where you can have a team that you've never practiced anything. And you're like, all right, look, here's what we're going to try. And you just throw that formation it and just say, we're going to run X hook. Omar, you're going to go to tailback. We're going to run X hook, T ladder, and Omar, just make sure you're outside of Cam, run 12 yards and just pitch and catch, throw it back. And to see a team execute something like that, I think that was a huge victory in and of itself. It just shows you that we're getting to a point where we can make adjustments and do things that necessarily we haven't practiced, but the knowledge base is there. The foundation is there. So I think that was important. But when you look at players, I think right off the top of my head, I think of Jackson Mark. Like, I don't know if he formed any like major turnovers. I don't think he had any of the turnovers, but he had some really impressive tackles against that kid where they were touchdown saving tackles. And to see a cornerback come off a block of a receiver and fit up, a eventual Division I tailback in the open field, I mean, that was impressive. I think Devon Lipsey's a difference maker for us when he's in the game. There's been a couple times, he's had some issues with his hip and stuff that he hasn't been able to be in there. And he's a noticeable difference when he's not. I thought Mohamed Bangura played really well last week. He with Moise battling an ankle, he got a lot of playing time last week, and I mean, he made some really great tackles and put some pressures on that quarterback that forced him into some interceptions. And then, just the secondary in general, I think it played great. I mean, 3 interceptions against a kid that a lot of people see as one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Ohio. He's going to Bowling Green. I mean, that's no small ask of your secondary. And offensively, it was hard. I mean, it was hard offensively last week. There were debates throughout the last 3 weeks of, is Olentangy or is Pick North the better defense? And I just think they're both really, really good defenses. They're different. Olentangy is very structurally sound, and they got dudes everywhere, but Pick North is extremely fast and athletic. Number 15 is a 4-star DN for them, so it's just like, we knew it was going to be tough sledding offensively, and you just got to try to, again, without your lead back out, your lead back isn't in the game and is on the sideline wearing street clothes. That just makes things even harder. And then, missing Kevin Blas last week, that was huge too, because, that puts Buss at that tight end position, and Cohen Buss is good. He's not the size of Blas, so you lose some size in your blocking game. But even further than that, like when we move Buss over, now we have to put Mason Pavlino in, and again, now you're talking about putting another freshman in, and Mason Pavlino is going to be really, really, really good. CJ Patton is another freshman who plays tight end who's going to be really, really, really good. We have, we're turning into like tight end high school of Ohio. Last year we had a really good tight end. And then, now this year we have Cohen Buss and Blas. And then next year you're getting Buss back, but you're going to have CJ Patton and Mason Pavlino jump in and start to fill some of those positions out. I mean, we have some really talented tight ends here. And, but again, it's a lot to ask a freshman to step in against Pick North. And like I said, like one of their DNs is a 4-star recruit. It's like, hey, go block this guy who's, 6'4", 230 pounds as a freshman. Like, good luck,
Yeah.
So again, I think this week, and we'll get to it, but this week, I think defensively we're, it's not that they're not good, but it's not like the defenses we've had to go up against the last 2 weeks. So,
Coach, it's homecoming week. You've got some captains that are going to represent your team when they walk out onto the field for the coin toss. Who are your 4 captains here for week 7?
So not all of our coaches have voted yet, but I think it's safe to say we have 3. Now there's the 4th guy. There's a tie currently with 5 votes per candidate. So we'll see how that shakes out. So I guess I'll leave our 4th one a mystery until tomorrow night at kickoff. But
I like it.
Right now it's we got Greg, Jackson Mark, and Omar Bangura. Again, 3 solid guys that have kind of been up in the running every week, that they've played. So and again, Greg Woods is Greg Woods. I mean, he is consistent as you were going to get. He's a tough block, and he creates some havoc and goes full motor all the time. Jackson Mark has come on and just has put together a really good 3 weeks of play. And he's kind of become a guy that, like, I don't know if opposing offense, I think the reason Jackson Mark didn't have interceptions last week is I don't think they threw Jackson Mark's way. Everything they did was they threw to the left side of the field, which is away from Jackson. And then, Omar's Omar, I think he's clearly become like I think every opposing defense is like, all right, who's the guy offensively that we need to take away? And I think Omar Bangura for us is that guy that opposing defense is like, you got to know where this kid's at. So, and then we'll find out who the fourth guy is, man.
The fourth guy, I like the mystery. We'll have Wes Minke report that during the coin toss.
Cool, yeah, that would be cool.
on our broadcast. Yeah, we expanded our pregame, coach, to make sure that we're going to cover the coin toss live on air. So we're going to make sure we cover that, and we wanted to have more in-depth coverage of what we see on the field each and every week. So we've expanded that as we went into conference play. Homecoming night for Westerville Central. You've had the opportunity to see a graduating class leave under you from last year. When you think about homecoming, what does that mean for you? I'm sure it had a different feel when you were in Toronto, but now that you're at Westerville Central, how is that starting to take a set for you emotionally and as a head coach?
Well, and I think we talked to the team yesterday after practice about this is, you find yourself in this unique position. History guy, obviously. I'm a huge Hamilton fan, and they talk about like how lucky they're to be alive, like right now in that moment. And I think that's kind of how it is for like our football players. Like you're in the midst of a rebuild, and like you were there when it started, and now you're starting to see some success, and things are starting to like. You're at the corner turn, you know what I mean? And like what an awesome opportunity that is to be a part of something that like you can feel it coming, what you're building to, where you're gonna, you can see where you're headed. And I think last year we didn't have that. Like last year it was just like, man, we just got to get through this year. Like you couldn't see the progress. But I think this year, like you're starting to be like, oh, okay, I can kind of see us. Oh, like I'm believing in what we're doing. I can see us heading in the direction that we're saying that we're going. So what an awesome opportunity for our kids to be a part of that. But even more, like it's an awesome opportunity to showcase people who are going to come back for this game. And I get so many kids come to my class constantly. Here's Nick Creaky. Come in, Nick Creaky. Nick Creaky is battling some sickness, so we're checking in on him and making sure that he's good to go. So you're welcome, Nick.
What is this?
Don't worry about it. I'm doing the radio show right now. You can say hi to everybody. Say hi to Brent Ford. There, come Nick Creaky, gonna come over.
I like it. Impromptu.
Had an interception last week. There he is. He's
Nick.
He's hydrating and getting ready. He's battling the sick. So look at him.
Hydrated.
He's what you got in there? Liquid IV, getting ready to go.
There you go.
So
whatever it takes to stay on the field.
Hopefully Nick gets another interception tomorrow night is what we're hoping. So listen, that's a common occurrence. I get people stopping in and say hi like all throughout the entire day. So
thank you.
See, bud.
Golden Retriever might join me at some point.
There you go. Yeah.
It'll be a Kirk Herbstreit moment.
I was going to say you'll be the next Kirk Herbstreit. But anyway, so what I'm saying is like this is an opportunity for people that typically don't go and come watch Westerville Central football. Like this might be the only game they come to all year. So, what are you going to showcase to them? What are you going to display to them as a player here? And, I challenged them yesterday to two things. The first thing is play so well as a team that people who haven't seen a game yet leave here and they're like, you know what? I'm going to go back to their next home game like that. I think they're pretty good. That was fun football. I liked watching them. And then more of a personal individual goal I gave them was, be the kid that like people haven't shown up to a game yet. And they're like, wow, like who, what number is that? Like, who's that? I'm going to look him up. I'm going to look his number up, see who that kid is. Try to be that kid. And if you can do those two things and play like that, I don't think there's any reason you don't win. I mean, it's, and everyone wants to do that going into it, but I've kind of told them like when it's the second quarter and it's 6 minutes, 23 seconds left on the clock and you're a little tired, like, are you going to be like, oh, I'm just going to take a play off, because games are usually dictated by like 5 or 6 plays. Like there's like 5 or 6 key plays where you're like, that influenced the game. And when you look at those 5 or 6 plays, like usually it's a play that somebody lost focus, made a mistake, took a play off, and those make the difference. And I think we are still learning how to not have those moments happen. So
yeah. Coach, let's take a break. We have got one more segment to do with you. We're going to preview Grove City for this homecoming night.
Cool.
And we'll do that right after this as we continue on the Josh Franke Coaches Show from Time and Change on Central Ohio Sports Network.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in Ohio is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, it just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Ohio did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
Cats are masters at using up their 9 lives, like chasing laser pointers into walls or jumping onto high shelves. But the one thing cats never do, text while driving. So be like a cat and protect your one and only life. Don't text and drive.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Josh Franke Coaches Show on Central Ohio Sports Network. Back with Westerville Central head football coach Josh Franke. Here is Brent Ford.
Welcome back inside the Josh Franke Coaches Show from Time and Change here on COSN. Pre-recorded segment with Coach Franke. Brent Ford here with you. Hopefully I'm getting those volleyball updates as the night goes on. Looking forward to see if your daughter comes out victorious. Maybe she'll have that game-winning.
I hope so. Well, you know what though? I literally just thought about this. I mean, what happens if we win this week? I mean, you know how I am with superstition.
You're gonna have to. Unfortunately, I won't have the availability to do this.
I'm just messing with you, man.
A pre-recorded video, it wouldn't work for me.
I'm messing with. It is weird how it worked out today, though. I mean,
it is.
So with this tournament, I knew the tournament was going to be today, and we didn't have a location and we didn't have a time, and it was all going to be based off seeding. And then the seeding came out, and I looked at the bracket, and I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" And I think the even better part is my daughter doesn't know that I'm coming. Like, she knows I have the radio show tonight. I was like, "Oh, hey, good luck." So I'm hoping that me showing up there gives that extra little motivation that she sees me. And it's like, "Oh, he came." And I don't. So we'll see.
That's great. I love that. Well, Coach, tonight you've got, we're talking about Grove City coming up for homecoming night. Tomorrow evening at Warhawk Field, you're back home, back in familiar territory. So what have you seen? You know, Coach Waits, when he took over the program, he really changed things up at Grove City. He changed how that offense works, how that defense works. Coach Waits has been a great coach for Grove City. He's really turned some things around. His son is a basketball player at Otterbein. So I see him come to games once in a while when I'm doing the PA there. So Coach Waits is no stranger to what Westerville football has from any of the schools. But what have you seen out of his program this year that maybe that's something, hey, offensively, against their defense, because you briefly mentioned it earlier, they're not going to be at the caliber of a Pickerington North or an Olentangy. They're still going to be well coached, but what are some things that you think that you are going to be able to do offensively in this game?
I think their defense, the challenge their defense presents is the fact that they're almost kind of similar to us. Like they're a 4-2-5 base, but like once you start putting tight ends and fullbacks in the game, they start rolling players down and getting more guys in the box. So like they almost want to match your box numbers. So as an offensive guy, that dictates like whether they're going to be in a single high safety look or they're going to be in double high safety, or two high safety, I should say. And that dictates whether they're going to be cover 1, cover 3, or they're going to be quarters and man under and cover 2. So that can change your play calls a lot. However, with that, it allows you the opportunity as an offensive coordinator to kind of dictate what you want them to be in. If I want to get a single high safety, I know that through formations and personnel groupings, I can get that look. And that can kind of give us the ability to call plays based off of knowing that they're probably going to be in cover 3. Or if I want the 2 high safety look and I want to play against a quarters type shell, then I want to get in my 11 personnel or my 10 personnel and get them playing off and lighten up the box a little bit. So I think there's things that we can do to kind of dictate what we're going to see from them. And that I think that can be an advantage at times. Personnel wise, I mean, they have athletes, they are athletic. But I don't even, not to sell them short. It's not like that they're super athletes, that you could tell they're a lot of hardworking kids. Like they remind me of like a really like a blue collar type football team, like a, like almost like a small town football team where, they come from blue collar families. And that's kind of like the feel you get from them. They play really hard. They give maximum effort. They're gritty. And, they utilize the athletes they have well. So they do have a big defensive line. And I think with anything, if you go bigger, you sacrifice speed. So their defensive line is not extremely fast, which can help us because we have a pretty big pretty big offensive line. And the way we get hurt a lot offensively is when you have guys that are on the defensive line that are fast. Those fast defensive linemen can give like a Brock Ballman who's 293 pounds, and give him a fit. I mean, those are hard blocks. So the fact that they are going to try to, they're going to match our size, I think plays in our favor because, I think our size and strength is one of our, one of our strengths. So defensively, that's kind of what they look. Offensively, I mean, they present a challenge, man. They run hurry up, and I think they're snapping the ball. They probably average a play every 15 seconds. I mean, they're fast, and that puts a lot of stress on your defense because the reason they do that is they want to make sure that, number one, that you're not subbing guys in and out. And we sub a ton of defensive linemen in and out of the game. They want to make sure we can't do that. So those guys end up getting worn out and tired. But then also they want to make sure that, number one, can they catch you making a mistake? Like, or can you lose focus and you're not aligned properly or something and they can catch you? And then, even more than that, they want to put you in your base defense. When you run hurry up and you run it at that speed, like it's hard for you to get in defensive calls. It's hard for you to get in different coverages. It's hard for you to call blitzes and call defensive line stunts and things like that. And that's why they're doing it. Like they play in the same league we do. They play Olentangy and they play Pick North and, they play these schools like a Hannah Lincoln. So to give them an advantage where they might not have the athletes those schools have, this can kind of neutralize athletes on the field because they're going fast. They're eliminating your ability to call defensive plays and they're stopping you from substituting. So really good quarterback. He can throw the ball around. If it wasn't for his height, I'd say he had a chance to play D1. He's on the shorter side, though. I think he ends up as a D2 kid, throws a really nice ball, times it well. They were offensively remind me a lot of Jerome. They remind me a lot of Jerome. They have a decent running back who's shifty and has some power behind his pads. He can get you. They have a pretty decent sized big line. The only difference is, and they'll take deep shots, but this quarterback's, if you're going to give him 5-yard hitches, like he'll take that all the way down the field. Now, I think that's where the difference with Jerome is Jerome lived and died off the deep shot, and these guys will take what you give them. And, they run a lot of option stuff, like option pass game stuff. So they'll run 4 verts. But their rules are if the corner's playing off, you're just going to run a hitch. If he's playing pressure, run vert. So they try to always make you wrong. And as a defense that, now we have to try to disguise some stuff pre-snap and give you some different looks and change that post-snap. So again, they present challenges. They definitely present some challenges.
Well, I was going to say, like, for your offense with Kevin King-Foku coming back into the lineup, what does that give your offense edge-wise against that defense this Friday?
I think the running joke amongst our coaching staff is like Kevin King, even on a bad play, is falling forward 2 yards. He doesn't get tackled in the backfield. He doesn't lose yards. Like if he's moving downhill with the football in his hands, he's gaining 2 yards. And if you think about it, like we just hand it off to him, 4 times, that's 8 yards. So if he's able to add a 3-yard gain in there twice, then we're good. So, but that's kind of where he gives us an advantage. And then it takes heat off knowing he's back there. I think he grabs attentions of defenses, because again, he's just a load coming through. I mean, yesterday I saw him. We had a freshman tackle him yesterday in practice, and it was a very impressive tackle because it's very rare that people get the best of Kevin King. And we were walking in from practice, and the freshman was Dom Lease. And I said, "Hey, Dom," I said, "Yeah, heck of a tackle, man. Like, not a lot of people can come up and do that to Kevin King one-on-one." And he said, "He dented my shoulder pad." I said, "What?" I said, "What?" He showed me his shoulder pad, and sure enough, Kevin King dented his shoulder pad. And
wow.
But that's like when you have to deal with that 20, 25 times a game. I mean, a guy running like that, I mean, that's not fun. And I think like as a defense, like I think that kind of builds up a little bit of anxiety on you. You're like, okay, where's this guy coming from? Is he coming for me next? And again, that opens up Nate on play action stuff. That opens up Omar on all of the different. I don't think it's any surprise to anybody. We run counters to Omar, and a lot of times they hit. And when Kevin King's in, they hit even bigger. So
defensively, when they do take some of those shots down the field, or they do those little hooks, what does that do for your corners? Is that going to be an opportunity for Jackson Mark to, you're going to want to disguise some things, but is this going to be a game where if they throw to him, are we going to see the opportunity for Jackson Mark to get some deflections, interceptions, things like that in this kind of situation?
I think Jackson Mark has a really high football IQ. And Jackson Mark is the type of kid or the type of player that like he's going to bait that quarterback into some things. Like he's going to try and play around with his leverage and his alignment to try and get the quarterback to think he has something, and he's going to strike. The question is whether or not that quarterback will take the bait, and when you're throwing the ball Jackson Mark's way, it's almost like, like you're like a snake handler, man. Like if you're not careful, he's going to bite you. And, so I think they may try to go after him, but I just don't see it being very often. But I think one of the kids that we didn't talk about last week, I completely missed, is the emergence of Julian Bradley.
Yes.
We had a lot of opportunities last week that we had him and Creaky both on the field as our high safeties last week. And I'll tell you what, for a sophomore, Julian Bradley came down and delivered some hits. And he is quickly figuring it out. And he's a kid that he's making plays now I feel like in the past several weeks where you're like, who is that? And they're like Julian Bradley. And you're like, oh, okay. And like he's figuring it out real fast. And I feel like every week he's playing better and better and better. So I think him and Creaky being out there together, it gives us a lot of length in the secondary. Creaky had an interception last week. So I think we have a really good secondary in place right now. And I think, that's going to give us an advantage against a team that likes to throw the ball a lot.
Well, Coach, it sounds like there's some opportunities here in this game. And like you said, with it being a homecoming game, as a player, how do you want to remember homecoming? How do you want those alumni to remember what you did on your homecoming night? And I think it goes a long way. What do you need out of your? Let's look at one other phase of the game. What do you need out of your special teams in this matchup? Better long snaps come to mind just off the top of my head, but what are you going to need out of your special teams in order to flip the field in this game?
And I think I couldn't remember if it was you pregame or if it was Wes, but the mention of special teams came up at some point in the in one of those interviews, and it's a third of the game, and I grew up watching Virginia Tech Frank Beamer, and like the Beamer ball, like that was, you can steal points, in the special teams era because so few teams practice them as much as probably they should. And I think we're included in that. I think this week we did an individualized specialist period where we really focused on some things in the special teams realm that we typically don't focus on, to just try and clean some things up and make sure that, here we are, we're more than halfway through the season. Like, we were doing individual specialized drills every day in August, and, other things take priority in the season. But I think, yesterday was one of those days where we took a good, healthy 20-25 minutes to really go over some of the special teams nuances that maybe needed to be refreshed and touched up on to try and prevent things. So we just need to not minimize mistakes, like a lot of times, like, you can score points special teams, but in reality, I think you just want your special teams not to screw things up, and I think that's a lot of teams. It's like, go out there, get a good snap, punt the ball away, and like, let's get off the field. So, again, we need to minimize our mistakes in the special teams. And I think we've done some adjusting and some personnel decisions to get some other guys out there, but this is a huge week. It's a huge game. If we were to win this game, we all but certainly lock up a playoff spot. So, and I told them, like, I'm all for trying to motivate kids. I'm like, hey, you win this game, I'll buy the playoff shirts Monday. Like, let's go. Like, we'll put the order in Monday. We'll have your playoff shirts here and delivered before the season's even over.
That sounds great.
Yeah, right.
Where do we buy? Where do we buy?
Yeah, right.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. Appreciate you taking time out of your day to do the interview and talking with us about last week's game. This game coming up tomorrow. Hopefully, as we're ending things, you're giving me some good news about your daughter's volleyball match. So, we're cheering them on here from Time and Change as well.
All right, man. Listen, thank you for making the adjustments and getting this together and everything like that. Obviously, like I said, I look forward to the show every week, and I know we have a lot of people that listen. So I didn't want to not do it. So you made my decision to be a dad a little bit easier on me. So,
well, again, it worked out. My truck is in the shop. I'm just kind of hanging around, waiting for that to finish up. So it worked. It all worked out pretty well for us. So, appreciate the time, Coach. And we'll talk to you on Friday for Westerville Central hosting Grove City.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
That is Westerville Central head coach Josh Franke, and we will wrap up the Josh Franke Coaches Show right after this from Time and Change on Central Ohio Sports Network.
Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, Russell Wilson here, and I know how important exercise is.
It's essential. It's essential.
With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids stay active and play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids, healthy kids.
But what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60 because great things happen when we live united.
Donate, donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
I perform for our high school choir director, who taught me to breathe from the diaphragm and sing from the heart.
Speech, debate, theater, music. The performing arts teach valuable life lessons that typically aren't taught in the classroom. They help high school students learn leadership skills that prepare them to enjoy more satisfying, productive lives.
Hey, I've got a question for you. Who will you perform for?
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the high school in your community.
You're listening to the Josh Franke Coaches Show on Central Ohio Sports Network.
Well, back here at Time and Change for the Josh Franke Coaches Show, wrapping things up. An interesting evening, that's for sure, with some audio issues during the broadcast. But hey, we figured it out, and we were glad that Coach Franke was able to take time throughout the day to still chat with us about last week and the things coming up this week for Westerville Central. Again, the Warhawks last week fell 32-0 to Pickerington North, and now it's homecoming week, and they host Grove City tomorrow night. That kickoff is at 7 p.m. from Warhawk Field, and we will have our coverage starting at 6:15 p.m. With kickoff again at 7 o'clock, and we'll have all the live action from Warhawk Field tomorrow evening. Big thanks to Time and Change for hosting us once again. Thanks to everyone who attended and showed up here in person. Thanks for everyone watching online, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and our audio stream as well. Big thanks to our coaches who joined us. Thank you to Principal Sayer, Cohen Bust for joining us as well inside the show. We appreciate everyone participating in this one here tonight. Join us tomorrow night, 6:15 pregame, 7 o'clock kick. Westerville Central takes on Grove City. Warhawks needing a big win in the OCC Ohio to keep things interesting. They need that win, too, to keep playoff hopes alive for this year. I'm Brent Ford. Good night from Time and Change. This has been the Josh Franke Coaches Show from Time and Change on Central Ohio Sports Network.
This has been the Josh Franke Coaches Show, a broadcast presentation of Central Ohio Sports Network. This presentation may not be rebroadcast without approval from Central Ohio Sports Network. To advertise or sponsor with COSN, email centralohiosportsnetwork@gmail.com. This is the home of the Westerville Central Warhawks.